2 stars Sam Claflin and Emilia Clarke, and this movie is an adaptation of a book, and it's basically about this man, played by Sam Claflin, who is basically paralyzed. He had an amazing life, his life was so great, he really loved being alive, but then eventually he gets paralyzed in a really tragic accident, and he starts to really hate life, he hates existing, he wants to die, but then this woman, played by Emilia Clarke, comes into his life, and she's basically like the person that is supposed to watch him during the day. She basically takes care of him, makes sure nothing bad happens, and throughout the course of this movie, they start to have a bond, and they have a relationship, and that's how this movie happens. So guys, when Me Before You first came out, I did want to see it. I was legitimately curious as to what this movie could offer as a romance movie. But the reviews were a little meh, and I didn't end up seeing it. I forget why I didn't see it, but there was a reason, I forget what it was. But I didn't end up seeing it when it was in theaters, and it finally came out, so I watched it, and now I'm here reviewing it because I wanted to review every movie that I saw in 2016, and here I am, even though it's late, reviewing this movie. And like I've said many times before, romance movies can touch me if they're done correctly. If there's something inventive about it, if the relationship works, if there's good chemistry, if it's original and different and it has a reason to exist and it's not the same as every other romance movie ever. And this movie really does fulfill most of the things that I would want in a romance movie. This movie is actually pretty good. I gotta start off with Sam Claflin. This guy is so good in this movie. I loved him in this film. Throughout the Hunger Games movies, I always saw Sam Claflin as Finnick and I was like, yes, that is a good actor. That guy has potential to do more great stuff. And in this movie, he really shows that this guy is a really good actor. He gave his A game in this movie. He's sarcastic, he's funny, he's really emotional and really good. You really legitimately do feel bad for this guy because his life has gone nuts, and it was a life that he loved so much, and then it all got ruined. It all turned to shambles. And he really does sell this performance of a broken guy, literally and figuratively. I can't wait to see you do more stuff, dude. You are the man! And also, Emilia Clarke in this movie was really good. She was really good at this movie. She's a lot different than Sam Claflin's character because she's more of a innocent girl who doesn't really do much. Her life is kind of boring, but she likes to have a lot of fun. She's goofy, she's silly. She's basically the opposite of Sam Claflin's character before he got paralyzed. And their relationship really works because there's always this thing that is mentioned in the world that opposites attract. That's basically what happens in this movie. The opposites attracted. You may be wondering what sets this movie apart from other romance movies. What makes this movie actually worthwhile? Well, there are several things in this movie that are worth seeing. I mean, definitely the performances, like I already mentioned, are great. But there's also several themes that this movie has to offer. It's about regret, it's about grief, it's about living life to the fullest, it's about being depressed, it's about suicide. There's a lot of themes in this movie, and I felt like it really did set this movie apart from other romantic movies. I mean, sure, it is a little bit similar to other romantic movies we've seen, like, say, Fault in Our Stars, and other movies where someone in the couple has, like, a disability and they might end up dying soon. There's movies done like this before, but what really sold me over with this movie was the performances and the emotion and the themes that this movie had. Because this movie really does have really good emotion. There are so many tear-jerking scenes in this movie. Especially because you feel so bad for Sam Claflin's character, and the chemistry he has with Emilia Clarke works really well. And the emotion really works because you actually do care about these characters, and you want to see Sam Claflin get the life that he had before. You want to see him get better, even though you know that that's never gonna happen. But some of the things that make this movie not as good as like a fantastic romance movie is that obviously, like I said earlier, this is similar to other romance movies we've seen before. We've seen movies done like this before. This isn't original or groundbreaking. Something I really like to see in romance movies is that they have to do something that sets it apart from other romance movies. It has to do something that makes it seem different. Like, for example, Last 5 Years, which came out last year, a movie I really liked way more than everyone else. That movie was different. It was original because they made it seem fresh and new and not like everything we've seen before. And it does feel overly long. Like, there are several times when you think like, oh, is the movie gonna wrap up here? No, there's more. Okay, is the movie gonna wrap up here? No, there's more. I felt like the pacing could have been a little better because a movie like this shouldn't be 2 hours. I feel like it should be an hour and a half. Like, a simple movie like this should just be an hour and a half. And I felt like they could have shaved off a little bit of time because it seems like the movie's a little bit too overlong. And also, another big problem for me with this movie is that they never go into Sam Claflin's past. You hear mentions of it, you see like a video of what he used to do, and I really felt like it could have had even more emotional weight if we saw this guy's life before he ended up getting paralyzed. Like, I wanted to see flashbacks, maybe, of what he used to do, of what his life was before, because I felt like the movie would have had even more emotional weight if that happened. But despite it not being that original, despite it being a bit overlong, despite not seeing the main character's past, which I wish they could have done, it still wins you over with the really good performances and the really good themes and the really good chemistry behind the two lead characters and the emotion that comes with this movie. It really does win you over, and for that reason, I'm gonna give Me Before You a B+. Not an amazing movie, but it is legitimately really good. It was better than I thought it would. I don't understand why the reviews aren't that good for this movie because I really enjoyed it. But definitely, obviously, the best romance of this year is gonna be La La Land. I mean, have you seen the frickin' trailers for that movie?
It looks like the best movie ever!
So if you like this video, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and bye.